Guys, you are not ready for this one. Meghan Markle just got absolutely torn apart on the Graham Norton Show, and to make it worse, it wasn't just Graham, it was the legendary Helen Mirren who joined in too. Imagine walking into a room thinking you're the star, and then suddenly realizing you're the punchline. That's exactly what happened here. The so-called Duchess has been trying to push her latest project, the as ever lifestyle brand, and now that cringe Sauvignon Blanc, but let's be honest, the reception has been icy. Graham and Helen didn't hold back. They didn't sugarcoat it, they didn't play nice. They took those pretentious marketing lines Meghan's been feeding the public and just ripped them to shreds right there on stage. And what makes this worse for Meghan? This wasn't a tabloid hit piece. This was respected, mainstream entertainment figures, people the world actually likes, making it clear that Meghan's little Hollywood fantasy empire is collapsing in real time. Here's the thing, Meghan has been desperately clinging on to this celebrity Duchess brand since she and Harry stepped away from royal duties. First it was Netflix deals, then Spotify disasters, then those overproduced documentaries that nobody watched twice. Now she's throwing wine into the mix, hoping people will buy it just because her name is attached. But let's face facts, Meghan has no credibility in this space. And Graham Norton, with his trademark wit, cut straight to the heart of it. He joked about how celebrity wine labels usually signal the end of a career rather than the start of one, and the audience erupted in laughter. Then Helen Mirren, with her sharp elegance, added that no matter how glossy the branding is, you can't repackage entitlement and call it authenticity. Ouch. That line alone had social media buzzing. And for Meghan, who thrives on controlling her image, being mocked by icons like Graham and Helen is the ultimate nightmare. It proves that she's not being taken seriously outside her curated PR bubble. What makes this hit even harder is the context. Meghan has been parading this brand as though it's some revolutionary project, selling it as if it's rooted in heritage and meaningful living. But anyone with eyes can see it for what it is, another cash grab wrapped in buzzwords. People are tired of the victimhood narrative, tired of the endless complaining, and now tired of the fake lifestyle branding. Graham and Helen just said what millions of people are thinking but didn't have the platform to say. They turned Meghan's so-called, as ever, brand into a punchline. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time she's been ridiculed by mainstream voices. Remember South Park? Remember how even Spotify executives called her and Harry grifters? This Graham Norton takedown is just another chapter in a very public unraveling. Meghan wants to be seen as an icon, but all she's becoming is a running joke. The reaction after the show has been brutal. Clips of Graham and Helen mocking Meghan's brand have gone viral across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Comment sections are flooded with people saying, "Finally, someone said it," and "We're tired of Meghan's act." Even neutral fans who once gave her the benefit of the doubt are starting to admit that the mask has slipped. And this is exactly why Meghan can't win. Every time she tries to reinvent herself, the public sees straight through it. She left the royal family claiming she wanted privacy, but here she is launching wine brands and lifestyle products, begging for attention on the very platforms she once demonized. Graham Norton and Helen Mirren simply amplified what's been obvious for a while. Meghan Markle is not relatable, she's not authentic, and she's running out of ways to trick the public into buying whatever she's selling. The backlash is real, and it's only growing louder. Meghan still doesn't seem to understand why people aren't buying what she's selling. She thinks if she slaps her name on a wine bottle or a candle, it instantly becomes high class. But the truth is, people see through it now. Graham Norton highlighted that perfectly with his humor, pointing out how celebrity gimmicks always end up in the bargain bin after the hype dies down. Helen Mirren even chimed in with that devastating observation about repackaging entitlement, which has been replayed online thousands of times. Those aren't just throwaway lines, they're reflections of a public sentiment that has been simmering for years. The so-called Duchess is overestimating her influence, and every news stunt makes her look more out of touch than ever. If you think about it, Meghan's whole strategy has been built on this illusion of sophistication, the idea that she's this trend-setting visionary. But when actual icons like Helen Mirren openly laugh at her brand, that image completely collapses. People don't want to hear Meghan lecture about authenticity while living in multi-million-dollar mansions funded by the very monarchy she claims to despise. They don't want overpriced wine with a fancy label. They want honesty, they want substance. And the fact that her critics are no longer just anonymous voices online but respected figures in entertainment is a sign that her bubble has burst. This isn't trolling. This is reality catching up with her. What's even more interesting is how Meghan has no control over moments like this. On her own podcast or Netflix series, she could edit, cut, and polish her narrative. But on Graham Norton's stage, she's fair game. She can't hide behind PR handlers when comedians and legends are openly poking fun at her. And this is what makes it sting more. She thrives on controlling the story, but here, the story wrote itself without her approval. The audience laughed, social media amplified it, and now it's part of the broader conversation that Meghan simply can't spin. No press release or carefully crafted Instagram caption is going to erase the humiliation she took on that stage. And honestly, this might just be the turning point. The Meghan brand has been running on borrowed time, propped up by glossy interviews and carefully staged appearances. But when mainstream personalities like Graham Norton and Helen Mirren start dismantling her image, that tells us one thing: the wider public is done. The mockery is no longer confined to tabloids or social media memes. It's on primetime TV, in front of millions, and it's not going away. Meghan tried to build an empire on victimhood and fake empowerment, but right now, all that's left is the wreckage of a narrative that people simply don't believe anymore.